For most of my life, a single question haunted me. Why did my parents choose him over me? It sounds dramatic, I know. But growing up, it felt like my brother Leo was the sun and I was just a planet orbiting his light. He got the new clothes, the expensive tutors, the unwavering attention. I got the hand-me-downs, the "you're smart, you'll figure it out," and a constant gnawing feeling of being second best. It started young. I remember one birthday, I'd been dreaming of this beautiful art set. I circled it in a catalog, left hints everywhere. When I unwrapped my gift, it was a set of used colored pencils. Nice, but not what I'd hoped for. Later that day, I saw Leo get a brand new top-of-the-line chemistry set. He hadn't even asked for it. When I looked at my mom, she just gave me a tight smile and said, "Leo needs this for his science club, sweetie. You understand?" I nodded, but I didn't. Not really. This pattern continued through our school years. Leo was on the fast track for STEM, aiming for a top university. My parents poured everything into his success. They paid for summer camps at prestigious colleges, private coaching for his entrance exams, and they never once blinked at the cost. Meanwhile, I loved literature and history. I wanted to join the debate team, go on the school trip to the historical sites. But the answer was always the same. "We just can't afford it right now, honey. Maybe next year." Next year never came. The resentment built up, a quiet, bitter poison in my heart. I saw them as unfair, favoring the golden child, while I was left in the shadows. I told myself they didn't value my passions, that my dreams were less important than his. I threw myself into my studies, fueled by a desire to prove them wrong. I got a part-time job to pay for my own books and art supplies. I became fiercely independent, determined to succeed on my own terms, without their help. When it came time for college applications, the difference was stark. My parents took out loans to cover Leo's tuition at an elite engineering school without a second thought. For me, they sat me down and explained the finances. They could help a little, but I'd need to rely on scholarships and student loans for the state university I got into. I remember just staring at them, the years of feeling secondary culminating in that one moment. I just said, "I figured." I left the room before they could see the tears. The distance between us grew. I moved out for college and barely came home. Our phone calls were short and strained. I loved them, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being wronged. I saw their sacrifices, but I believed those sacrifices were only for Leo. Years passed. I graduated, built a career for myself in publishing, and found my own happiness. Leo became a successful engineer, just as they'd planned. We were all living our separate lives, the unspoken tension still hanging between us. The truth came out in the most unexpected way. It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon. I was at my parents' house, helping them clear out the attic. It was a dusty museum of our childhood. Old toys, school projects, photo albums. Tucked away in a corner, under a pile of old blankets, was a heavy wooden chest. I asked my dad what was inside. He looked at my mom, a silent conversation passing between them. Then, he just nodded and handed me the key. My hands trembled a little as I opened it. It wasn't full of treasures. It was full of paper, stacks and stacks of it. On top was a thin, worn-out file. My name was written on the tab. I pulled it out. Inside were medical records. My medical records. From when I was a baby. I was born with a severe heart condition. The documents detailed a series of complex, life-saving surgeries I'd had as an infant. The bills were astronomical, figures that made my head spin. I saw letters from insurance companies denying coverage, and appeals my parents had written, filled with desperate, eloquent pleas. They had fought tooth and nail for me. Below the medical file were financial statements, loan agreements, and records of second and third mortgages on our house. They had taken on a mountain of debt to save my life. A debt they had spent the next 2 decades quietly, painstakingly paying off. I looked up at my parents. They were standing by the window, their faces etched with a familiar mixture of love and weariness. But now, I saw it in a completely new light. Why didn't you ever tell me? My voice was barely a whisper. My mom came over and sat next to me on the floor. She took my hand. We never wanted you to feel like a burden, she said, her voice thick with emotion. We never wanted you to think you were fragile, or that you owed us something. We just wanted you to have a normal, happy life. To run and play and dream without this shadow hanging over you. My dad joined us, his hand resting on my shoulder. All the choices we made, they were for both of you, he explained. When Leo showed his talent in science, we saw a clear path for him, a stable, secure future. We pushed him, yes. We invested in him, because we were terrified. We used up our savings, our safety net, on your medical bills. We had to bet on a sure thing. We needed one of our children to have a guaranteed path to success, so that if anything ever happened, he could be there to help you. It all clicked into place. The new clothes for him, the hand-me-downs for me. The expensive camps for him, the maybe next year for me. It wasn't about favoritism. It was about survival. It was a desperate, heartbreaking strategy born from fear and overwhelming love. They weren't choosing him over me. They were trying to protect us both, in the only way they knew how. They had built a lifeboat for my brother, hoping he could one day pull me from the storm if he needed to. Tears streamed down my face, washing away years of resentment and misunderstanding. They weren't tears of sadness, but of overwhelming gratitude and a profound sense of my own blindness. All those years I felt unseen. I was actually the reason for every decision they made. My life, the one they fought so hard to save, was the silent, invisible center of their world. The sacrifice wasn't choosing him. The sacrifice was a lifetime of quiet struggle, of carrying a massive financial and emotional weight so that I wouldn't have to. It was pretending everything was normal while working multiple jobs to pay off debts I never knew existed. It was the pain of seeing one child feel neglected, while knowing they were doing it all out of a desperate love for her. That day in the attic, I didn't just find old medical records, I found the truth. I found a new understanding of my parents and a deeper love for them than I ever thought possible. My whole life, I thought they had chosen him. But the truth was, they had chosen me first. They had chosen me every single day since I was born. And in their own flawed, beautiful, heartbreaking way, they had never ever stopped. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more. Sometimes, the truth is hidden in the places we least expect to find it.